Okay, today we're going to do a new tile installation on my Schwinn Avenue Hybrid. We're going to be installing this H2 Bontreager tire that we got yesterday from the bicycle outfitters up in Los Altos. This one is, I know I bragged on a couple of I've been a little wishy-washy actually on a couple of the Bontrager tires. Right, but this is the one that we got. It's $24.99. They actually discounted it, and I only paid $16.49 for it. Right, so it's a brand new one, new to me. It's a Bontreager H2 700 by 35C. It's supposed to be highly puncture resistant. Right, but anonymous friend here already noticed that a couple of imperfections, right, in the bead and in the way it came out of the mold. Right, so we don't know how it's gonna.
Should smooth out though.
That's true. Yeah, how it's going to work or what it's going to be like. This is the tread pattern to it. This is supposed to be a fairly decent tire, right? So it's going to, and as you can see, it's going to be replacing this worn out select invert. Well, it's not worn out, but it's pretty much mostly gone, right? And this one is turned out to be not a very good tire, right? So we're going to start out here by taking the old tire off, right? So here we go. Step one. Take the air out. Now I'm using a couple of the different tire spoons here. This one is the Park Tool TL1. The anonymous friend has already complained that the curve is too aggressive right here, and it makes it hard to either put on or take off the tire. The other one is this one. It's hard to see. It's a German made. This one we found.
That's Pedro's.
This is a Pedro spoon right here. We found it. It's a little worse with the wear, a little beat up. Right? And this edge right here is a little sharp. Right, but this is one of the best tire tools you can actually get. Right, so. Once you got the air out, you want to squeeze it. Make sure that the bead is off the rim, so it makes it easier, right, to dismount the tire. Second, right, you want to stick your spoon in. I usually start somewhere right here around the valve core and just peel it right off. Right, just like that. Right, now, right, you want to take the tube out slowly, because you don't want to mess it up, right? Take it out right there at the core. Pop that sucker out. Now this is a pretty good tube. This one is Avenir, right? It's fairly heavy duty. Right, 700C, right, 700C by 35/45C. So this one will even fit into the bigger tire, right? You want to feel it, make sure that it's good. We know it holds air. This is a good tube. You want to get all of this crud and all the junk off of it before you put it back in. So you know, right? Set that to the side. Right now, I'm gonna take the rest of the tire off. Just flip it over the rim, peel it off. There you go. Now. As you can see, this tire's got threads coming off of the bead, right? I'm saying it's got rubber on it, right? It's pretty thin. It's got a lot of debris inside of it, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of thin in the tread pattern right here. It's thin on the sidewalls. So this tire is pretty much used up for what I'm trying to do with it. Now, technically, when you do something like this, you're supposed to replace the wheel tape, the rim tape every time, because rim tape is a single-use object. Right, because a lot of times you get the wear right here around the hole, and they'll rip and they'll tear, and then you'll have exposed spoke nipples, and that gives you flat tires. But since we don't have a new rim tape, and I'm not going to spend the time to cut down some 20 mil plumber's tape, right, I'm just going to reuse this one. But right now, I'm going to check it and make sure that it's lined up. It's in the little tray where it's supposed to be. It's covering all the spoke nipples, and there's no debris on it, right, where it's going to mess up the tube anymore. Right now, once you do that. Right, you take your new tire. Right, now, a lot of road bike tires and a lot of 700C tires, they have an arrow on it and a word that says direction, right, for the way the rotation is supposed to go. Right, so you want to look for that, I know, see, it's right here. Direction. See right here. Direction. Right now. How that works is this. Is that you want to make sure that you got the bike wheel on the right side. Right? This side here is the drive side. This is the other side. Right? And you know that the wheel rotates clockwise. So that you want to match the tire up, the direction, right, with the way the tire goes. So the direction is going this way. This is a clockwise rotation. That's the way it goes on. Right? So. Lay your wheel down gently, you don't want to mess this up, right? And you want to pop it on one side of the bead, gently, just like that. Right now, we know that we're on the right directional side. Right now, a lot of people will take all the air completely out of the tube, right? You know what I'm saying? But that makes it rather difficult to stuff it back in. Me and my anonymous friend and a few other people that we know are bike heads. We tend to leave just a little bit of air still in the tube, so that you can fit it in, and it, and it lays in the rim correctly. Where you want to start is right with the valve core, the valve stem. You want to make sure that it gets put in straight, it's lined up right, so that you don't end up cutting it with your wheel and your rim later on down the road because it's laid over in a 45-degree angle or even worse. I'm going to pull it all the way up, just like that. Then, slowly, you want to tuck the tube into the tire. Right? Now, this is a new one, so it's going to be a little stiff. Right? Go about, quarter of the way up on one side, and then go about, you can start on the other side. This way it lays in flat and straight, doesn't get twisted or stretched or any of that stuff. On the second side, you want to go up about halfway, or all the way up to 12 o'clock noon on the clock, and then you want to finish stuffing it in from the other side, so that you know that it fits in right and it's correct. See, I got it in there right now. This is the tricky part, right? At this point, right, is where you are at your most likely to create a pinch flat for yourself. So you want to make sure that it's tucked in all the way and that it fits down flat like that on the wheel before you start. Now, if you're an old hand at this and you've done it a million times, you pull the stem up straight, right, like that, and you can move the tire back and forth on the wheel, and you want to make sure that it's straight, pointing straight down, straight, right? Now, those of us that are old hands at this, right, we have a tendency to be able to do this with our thumbs. Right, but since this is a new tire, I think I'm going to have a little bit of a fit. So you just want to slide it out. You want to hold it right here. See where I'm holding it? See where I'm holding it right here with my thumb next to the valve stem? That way you keep the valve stem. And you just want to push the bead over the rim. Right, as far around as you possibly can. Right. You want to keep it off of the quick release stem. Push it around. Notice I'm still holding it with my thumb. Right, push it around, push it around. Oh, it's gonna fit right. Yes, he pops right on. Look at that. See? Now, you notice the only time I used the tire spoon was the first time to get the old one off. Now, at this point, you want to roll it around, and you want to make sure that the bead seats onto the inner clenching part of the rim, just like that. Because remember, there is a little bit of air in the tube. You want to roll it around a couple of times to make sure that it seats before you put the air in it. Alright, back to where I'm at. See, here's the valve stem. Now, on the side of the tire, it always tells you what the max inflation rate is. Right? On this one, inflate to 65 to 90 psi. Right? That's 4.1 to 6.6 bars, or 410 to 660 kPAs. Right? Since we're here in America, right, I'm saying I'm going with the 60 to 95 psi. Me personally, I like 100 pounds in my tires. Right? You'll notice here that while we were rolling it around, right, you see how the valve stem, right, went a little bit funky. So at this point, we just want to make sure, slide the tire around if you can, right, that it lines up straight, because you want that baby straight. You don't want it, you don't want it angled, you want it crooked, right, because that is the highest chance that you got of cutting the valve stem right here right? And brewing in a tube, right? When you least likely to need a tube ruined, right? Okay, look, straight up and down. Now, I forgot to get the pump out of Anonymous' bag, and he's going to be a little irate at me right now because he has to stop what he's doing with his computer and he has to go get the pump out because he doesn't like me digging in his tool bag because I have a tendency to forget to take the camp hatchet out and root around in there and mess this shit all up.
And then I'm pedaling, I'm kicking tools.
Yeah, he's pedaling, he's kicking shit, and it irritates the piss out of him. Right, okay, now, yesterday we discovered that this particular little pump, right, you have to unscrew it a little bit, right, because the inside thing that holds it onto the valve stem is a little old and stretched and bullshitted around, and it doesn't necessarily fit right. And this one, this type of pump,
needs to tighten it back up.
It needs to cover all of the threads in order to make it sit feel, and then once you got it in, then you have to screw it back on and tighten it up. So, let's see, it's open like this, right? It's open with the thing up. Open with the thing up. Right, so, you want to make sure that you get it all the way on, covering all the threads, close it down, and then tighten it back on. Now, this pump says it's a Bell Airstrike dual action. Right? It says that it pumps 1 pound for every pump, but that, my friend, is a load of crap. Right? So, here, look, here's another tip. You want to hold on to the pump head onto the valve stem so you don't rip the thing as you're pumping. So grab a hold of it firmly, right, and then pump it. We don't have a pump gauge, right, so I'm roughly going to be guessing at about what 100 pounds is, but since...
Can you run that to 100?
I'm going to try.
What's the tire say?
The tire says 60 to 90.
Just don't go to 100. Go about half and then bang it. See the bead.
Alright, we're about half right there, so we're going to unlock it, unscrew it, and pop it off. And then this is what my friend's talking about banging it. Make sure that it seats under pressure. Alright, a couple times around. Alright, there's about some at the top. That feels pretty good. Man, this is a good tire. Good looking tire right here. Nice and wide. That's the way I like it, 35. I actually like the 40s, but 31s, but 35 is what was on here, and it matches the width of my front tire, so here. So remember, loosen it up, cover the threads all the way, and then lock it down, and then tighten it back up. And then continue pumping. That feels pretty good. So unlock it, loosen it up, pop it off. Put your valve cap back on. There you go. Installation of a Bontreager H2 35C 700 right onto a 700C wheel for your road bike. This is me, Brian. Thank you.